Hello, dear viewers. Thank you for joining us for another show in the series, The Solution, where we're speaking about Bala Sulam's social approach. We have Dr. Laitman with us in the studio. We have Ophir Levy with us, an accountant. In the last discussion, we were talking about money in the altruistic economy, and today we're going to take the same subject and bring it a bit closer to our time, to this transition time. And let's start, Rav Laitman, with an opening question. Today, money is the main means for a person's security, and that's where all the attempts come from to find solutions to the global crisis. How will the world solve the problem without dealing with money, but rather bring people's security in other ways? We can't solve any problem in the world with the help of money and power and all the other means unless we change man, which we have to do. We have to make a great effort here with the integral education, study, bring each and every person an understanding what world we're living in, what format we have to go into. It will either be through pressure, through the undesirable development, or it will be through desirable development through our desire. That will be more connected, that we feel that we're in one connected network, mutual network with mutual responsibility, with the correct education, correct this integral network that's being revealed from humanity as a result of our development, our evolution. There's a lot of research about it. We've spoken a lot about it in other shows. Therefore, first of all, we have to see this education as a foundation, that without it, we can't do anything. From us bringing people a feeling of unity and connection, which nature is obligating us, and to the extent that we have to develop this between us, and to the extent that these things are also desirable, because it's that, not money, that brings us security, like you said, and other things, and health, and good, correct attitude to our environment, our ecological and human environments, and education and everything. We have to see how we can, in a natural way, begin reducing all the weight of money from the education, health system, security system, all different systems. Today, we are paying for each and everything. If you don't pay for me, I'm not doing any movement with my finger. Because you, as economists, you have to calculate each and everything, how much it costs and to who's paying and who's receiving. Today, this is how our egoistic network operates. And until the ego was individualistic and treated everyone like that, then we could do correct calculations between us as much as possible. It's all very big masses and it's hard to calculate, but actually we would each be based on our effort, and it's measured by money in each and every place. The amount, the quality of your effort, it's measured by money. We can buy it, that effort, and pay for it and pass it on to each other. The amount of money is based on how much effort I made. The energy that I waste in one place and I want to give and I want to take. When we talk about a situation where we're discovering a network between us that obligates us to be in mutual connection, so then we're not talking about money, but rather something that obligates us. Not my ego obligates me to make a calculation for each and everything, but apart from my ego that remains, there's there's also a system, just like my family, let's say. I have no choice but to invest in my kids. I have no choice. I myself work, but I have to feed my wife, my kids, and maybe even give my parents, or they give me. There's connections that you can't measure with money. These are intimate connections, and here we have to start calculating them. What are we going to do? If we raise the standard of development, the standard of education, of awareness of society, of what we have commonly, like say on a kibbutz or in a village even on a moshav, a settlement where everyone partakes in things together, we're beginning to take into account the ease. If previously everything was measured by money, let's say cleaning, now we can give it to the citizens as guarding, savings in electricity, gas, water, all kinds of things. All the green that we have all over the city, the trees, we finally find all kinds of resources that voluntarily, from the fact that we feel that we are the environment, a unified environment, a unified society system, we can take it upon ourselves. And when we do take it upon ourselves, then we have less stress from that area, and it's transferred to the new money. What's the new money? You obligated to work in this, and I work in this, and this is how we fill things. This is how we function in the city, but the function toward the country, it could be the same thing. But what do I want to say here? That there's also storage places, mutual help, etc. I want to say that it's only according to the level of education that people will receive, and according to the standard of change within it, that it will receive from its environment, from the media, all those things. Only according to that, we can talk about the new relations and switch to the new money. If you're talking about transferring some kind of new exchange without changing man, they're doing that in the world, and I don't believe in all those things. It's not going to fix anything. It's like crutches instead of legs. What is the difference? How do we see this money happening? Is it spiritual? Is it virtual? If a person doesn't invest himself and seeing himself as part of the general network and feel obligation from there, then there's no change. It's just hypocritical, and that's it. Truly, you touched a point that we're going to switch to in a moment, the social currencies that are beginning in the world. But I still wanted to remain on the subject as money as security and ask you, we really see all the parts of the current system based on money, all the bubbles it created, etc. But still, people haven't lost their faith in money. In Europe, they just publicize that people are putting bills under their tiles, like they used to put gold under the floor. How do you explain that money hasn't lost its worth? What do you suggest they invest in? What? Real estate? Gold? What? If you described previously what's the difference between money, even say alternative coins, we still see that despite their rise, people haven't lost their faith in money. Is there something deeper in the significance of money that people are so don't want to let go of it, even though we see that the system isn't even effective? Again, I don't understand. What is the reason that people haven't lost their faith in money? Faith is in inertia. They're used to it, that money is money. It's a habit. What I have in my hand, I have in my hand. I go in the street and I can buy what I want in the street. From the car to anything. I take out bills from my pocket and pay, and that's it. That's a fact. A person has a short-time view. What he has in his hand, he has in his hand. There's me, that's it. What I have in the bank, we don't believe, because we saw in Cyprus and all those things, it goes down, it goes up. If previously there was a government covering things up, today it's just the opposite. Banks are controlling everything, controlling the governments. So a person doesn't believe in anything. Now, gold, it's a problem until you sell it, and if somebody even wants to buy it, it's not liquid. It's still kept by the country. It's worth it. According to what we see from thousands of years ago, they say a third you have to put into bills, a third keep in gold, and a third in real estate. Yes, that's what they say. That's what it's written. And in that manner, you have to maintain yourself. Bills, if it falls, at least you have the gold left, that you can take it with you. And real estate, you still need. And if you don't need it for yourself, then buy something else. Doesn't matter. But they say it should be a third, a third, a third. I don't believe in this new money because it doesn't solve the problem. It doesn't solve the problem, but because people have lost faith in these bills for themselves in a local manner or in a narrow manner. They're opening for themselves reserves like in America. It's just limping forward. Even if you can solve, you can open anything like that, a person's effort. I once saw a movie where people were a fictional movie where each and every person, they don't have a life. They have an engine inside working, and that engine, each person gets 50 years, and you can transfer your time of life to someone else. So you go into the movie theater, you pay a minute. You go to buy something in the supermarket, you pay 2 minutes from your life. And this is, you're always paying with time from your life. That's also a payment. A payment in effort and time in life. And you can also buy some of your life. If you go to work for someone, he can add you some minutes or hours to your life. Money is, we need to understand that here we're in a process that nature is obligating us to develop. And it's obligating us to develop toward the connecting, and all the things that we will do here, apart from the connection between us, it won't hold. But it's only for the sake of connection, and as a result of the correct connection, then we will see what is possible to change. But as a result of the connection only, otherwise it won't hold. It's a waste of time to. You shouldn't waste time on it. You can plan all beautiful things, but it will break. Why won't it? Why can't they hold on to all these plans, the economists and everyone, because they're not taking into account the process that we are going through, that we're being forced to go through. There's a bulldozer that's building the road of our development, and everything else is falling off that road. So we have to take it, and that is what is telling us that it's only through connection. The connection will be in good or bad, but it will be. And from this connection, you will understand what will happen with the currency, the connection between us, industry, etc. We reached this subject in a natural manner about the social currencies. I just want to give a little intro to our viewers. What we're going to talk about in this segment, we said that throughout the world there's movements coming up that are talking about a change in currency and controlling it. The only people enjoying the current system are the banks and the elites. And most of the countries are endangered with the value of their money, and they're trying to destroy the system. The alternative is a new monetary system instead of the current one, where they really see the root of evil. Money as the root is evil. They want to cancel the monopoly, the banks, that everything will belong to the country and that they work for the sake of the good of the public. We know this is, you don't see this as the correct path for advancement. It's in some place can give people some solution, but go to the Bedouin and they'll exchange things with you. It doesn't solve the problem itself. What Guy is trying to explain is that today the person that controls the production of money is the elites and the banks, and this solution suggests in the current system to transfer it to the country that's supposed to be looking after the people's best interests, to transfer the responsibility from the bank to the country. Who did it in the first place, if not the country itself? So let's give it back to the country. So give it back. What's the problem to give it back? The question is that it's not the new money. We're still talking about the current system, not the new social currency. The money that we have today, dollars, the person printing it today are the central banks. They control the quantity of money, the interest, the elites, controlling the banks, and then they have their own interest. Like you said before, they actually control things. So the system for change of currency suggests giving the responsibility back to the country, meaning that the country will be in charge and decide when to print, etc. You can't. The country's too weak. Again, the country's weak against the elites. The elites, it's 10 or 20 families that have the whole world in their pocket. When they feel like it, they print, and what they feel like they do, and you can't do anything against them. It's families that each of them, they have billions and billions, each one of them. It's assets that have been developing for hundreds of years, from hand to hand. So you're saying the control in the banks in today's reality, it's complete, total. There's no way you can do anything about it, even the country itself. Who gave it to the banks? The country. And precisely today there's a new experiment, there's a new currency called Bitcoin. It's a digital coin, it's virtual, and it's a limited quantity. You can't print too much. It's going around the banks. They opened a new virtual commerce site. It said, say, me and you, we can start buying services. And it's a currency, it's money. It's still not the social currency. You don't have to do something good for me. It's like you have a dollar, and here you have shekels. So instead of shekels, you're using not shkalim, you're calling it skalim. What's the difference? No. But you can't just print it as much as you want. So what? It's still not connected to the dollar. to the other basket of currencies? How is it possible that it doesn't? At the end of the day, it's you buy it in dollars, and then you start to use it. There is no other way. If for each and every effort of a day of work, of a service, you have $1, and now you want to exchange it and pay with another currency. The other currency still belongs to, there's a belonging, there's an equivalent between the dollar and this virtual thing. That's how it is. How can it not be like that? You don't want it to be like that, okay, but it will be. But still, there's a system here that is somehow overcoming the failures of the dollar system. The dollar, it's all based on a debt. This Bitcoin, you can't print and create money from money. There's a limited amount. So they have a ready system. It will be limited for use, and that's it, and nothing else. At the end of the day, they buy what's based on dollars. This Bitcoin, did they buy or sell? At the end of the day, they buy and sell masses of dollars. But they buy and sell amounts of dollars, so they're dependent on it. So we'll reach to the next question now. The meat gets more expensive. Do they pay more or less? So the amount of meat is still, if it gets expensive, it's still based on the dollar. So the currency is connected to the dollar still. You're not on some other planet. But we can compare it to, we had until 1971, the gold. It's a similar process. No, it's not similar. Here you have a basis that's always, that's dynamic. Tomorrow I'm going to print another $200 billion. What can you do? Nothing. In those days, you couldn't print more than you had in gold. Then you were connected to the amount of gold. Now, when you're not connected to anything, you can print as much as you want. So your dollar is dependent on someone. The amount that I have in my pocket, tomorrow it's worth, I have 100, tomorrow it's worth 80. What will it help with your currency? It's still connected to the dollar. There's no way around it. To bring the dollar back to gold, that's another thing. Beyond the first conversion I made, the $100 that I paid for the new currency, can't you see this changing? And maybe the dollar will go down. Who will allow you to do that? There's people that control the world. A few dozen people controlling the whole world. Do I have to tell you? You're an economist. You know where the money comes from and the power of money comes from. But you don't understand what we're talking about? The question came because this currency today, if a year ago the Bitcoin was worth $5, now it's worth $200. There's also a bubble there. It's gone up 1,800%, and there's no proportion to the value of the dollar. So can there be a process where gradually this currency will naturally exchange the dollar, and then it won't be stuck to the dollar? Maybe after I do the first conversion, because it's built on debt, the dollar, maybe we can make a more balanced economy. How is it possible that it's not based on debt if it's always getting bigger? It's in comparison to the dollar. You see, it's dependent on the dollar. I see in that, I see a pyramid here that they're playing with until it blows up and falls. But there's something here, Rav Laitman, that's deeper. People have lost at some point their faith. What we spoke about as money is something that gives them security and faith. They've lost it with regular money, and they're looking for an alternative. It won't help them. I'll tell you why. Because our development is to a state where we will lose all our security and everything except the connection between us. You want security? Build a society that will give you connection, give you security, love, support, and the correct money, the extent of connection to this special society. That's it. Try to see in that you're getting close to understanding this, that this virtual money and this lack of foundation, the lack of sure currency, why is it happening now? To transition people to a place to think, so how can I get a foundation for myself? What can I build on? What will be with my family, the kids? What will happen? How can I promise my future with something? For a regular person, it's very important. Me, my family, my pension, all kinds of things. What are we going to do? What's going to happen? Buy another apartment? No. Money, where should I put it? I don't know. In the bank, for sure not. Under the tiles. Gold, how many kilos do I need? Where, who, what? People don't know what to do. There's people that I know that have $300 million, $500 million. They don't know what to do exactly. What they're doing, they're having fun. They buy a few houses here, there. It's peanuts. But they really don't know what to do because it's all going down, it's all falling. There's no way around it. It's all been happening, especially from nature, in the program of our development, so that we'll understand you need food, security, that you'll be happy with your kids, you'll have a pension, you'll have health, all these systems that are vital for life. You can only get them from the environment, that you'll build it, the correct environment, the good, warm, friendly environment that you'll take part in, you'll contribute your part and receive in return. That's the money. The more you contribute to society and you unite it and maintain it, that's what you'll get in return. That's your asset, the environment. So you're describing the transition phase, the transition. Okay, we don't need more than that. Now let's do like this. How much did you contribute to society? Let's make you contributed 20 hours. Let's make a meter. You contributed this much, and that's how much money you'll get. You have the hours of work that you did. That's it. Then there's no inflation, there's nothing. You can transfer it to his family like bills, but toward the environment. And that's how everything will be fine. It's like money. But it's based on a different kind of security, on the fact that I contribute to a friendly, good environment. We're always strengthening it, maintaining it. We're always strengthening our connections with this environment. And then surely tomorrow, everything will be great. I'm not even worried about anything. Today, I'm not worried about anything. I'm living in the Garden of Eden. It's like I'm on vacation. You go out and that's it. I bought a ticket. It includes everything, all-inclusive. You go into the hotel, you have a week with your kids. I can see by your face that you get it. I'm ready to go right now. That's how your whole life is. So if it's so great, so what? Why can't it happen? Because education, we need to work on it. But that's the only currency, money. Kisuf, covers your ego in exchange for your good attitude to the environment. And now I want to switch to the third part. Call it new money. I don't know what to call it. So the same thing we want to ask about another issue that's coming up a lot today as money for leveraging a social shift in society. We want to take some script based on what you just said and ask you what you think. We are an organization that deals with integral education in suburb areas. He's giving you a scenario, an example. some far away, some village far from the city. The economic system is bad. The mayor has started using solutions with the new currency that he sees around the world. New local currencies that their goal is to strengthen connections between people, raise the standard of living, enhance the city. We want to ask you about the connection between the integral education and this initiatives to see if we can support one another. We see many social currencies that are developing. In Japan, there's one that's come to help look after the elderly. Nobody wanted to look after them. They made a meter, and each person that gave an hour for looking after an elderly, he got a token for getting services for himself. And the common denominator is that it strengthened the community ties. And now we want to ask, because of that same they have the same message as us. Are these results, are these integral education? It can also, like we see happening now with these social currencies. With that, you're only buying a person's exertion, and that's it. You're not making any change. Because you're saying to a person, now go look after some old person. In another 10 years, you'll be old and somebody will look after you, so you're buying it. How much does an hour cost looking after an old person that I'm paying today, or I'm paying later, or whatever? It's the same thing. What did you change in that? How did you raise the society upward to friendliness, unity, to something? And that, first of all, you're going out against nature, because nature is operating. We'll need to be connected. You will first check yourself with the process that we're going through, that nothing happens for nothing. We're not some static society. Let's do this, let's do that. Why yes, why no? I don't go that way. I know I live on the planet, and that all together in a human society, and that we're under the bulldozer of evolution, of development, and it's pushing us to be more and more connected. And I go with that. So first of all, if it goes along with the nature's trend, okay. And it means we even need to be connected even without money, without anything. Not that it's worth it for me or not worth it for me. Nature is obligating me to be connected. And if you pay me or don't pay me, it doesn't come into the calculation. You're saying like this, let's print from now on billions of dollars. We'll hand it out to people for their exertion, for their labor. I want you to do this and this. Go hug yourselves, provide everyone with good things. For each thing I'm paying. Will it help you? The fact that you now want to bring in this currency, that you want to obligate them to be more connected with each other. They'll be more connected because you're paying. That's against the program of nature. In the nature's program, we have to correct ourselves, that we'll want to do it without any payment, that our payment will be the connection itself. That's a bit high up. It's not high up. If you don't do it, nothing will help. All your good programs will even get into a greater crisis. That's what I want to talk about this point. Because you said that anything we do outside of the connection with us won't hold. It's not connecting. Because if I go into a restaurant and somebody comes and wants to help, maybe you'll eat this, or maybe you'll eat that, or we'll make you something special, this and this. Does he want to help me? It's a waiter. He's making money, and he's waiting for a tip from me. That's it. That's what you wanted to have? Without correcting a person? Without correcting anyone? Then I'll come, and I'll help them to get the money I am going to earn. But this process can't lead to something. You're putting those dollars in, and if not, the currency will be pink, yellow, blue, doesn't matter what. You're putting in the same thing. Let's say now I'm looking after some old guy, and my son is getting an activity for that, an after-school activity. And my daughter goes to the school, goes to the store, and can even get a dress for it. It's the same currency. It's just virtual. Or some way. But the money itself, it's all in this paper, or is it the virtual power of the currency itself? Not power in the paper, it's not a weapon. It has value. So that same value, who cares what it's... The system still has some new direction, new development. Guys, you are going... Nature is forcing us to change. You're saying, no, we'll just change the relations between us with money. The money is called like this or like that. I still buy those services with money. I'm buying services with money. You say you look after him, they'll look after you. So I work in my work, and then I go buy those services. What's changed here? Did I get a new attitude from them? No. But precisely in those places, they say that people inside them, they have a feeling of community, of contribution, of mutual help. There's still some added value to the current system. What does it obligate them? I don't know. It's a fact. Why? I don't understand. Even if I'm in some little village, like we said, on the outskirts, what will it help me? Let's go for a minute and see how a person looks at life. A person goes to work, makes money, and at the same time, there's a method penetrating his life that it's been calculated by these social currencies. And he's beginning to get another feeling from that workplace where everything's based on money and banks and everything. He's starting to get an alternative system that the banks are bringing some certain satisfaction into his life, some connection. What meal am I going to? My neighbors, who wants neighbors? What are you talking about? Do you even know your neighbors? Of course not. What are you telling me? I'm looking at your face and I know. Without education, why do I need to go in the evening to some place? Why do I go to labor, to waste this so much energy, calories? Everything we do is energy. Why do I need to give you part of my energy, part of my life? I'm asking. What obligates me? That afterward, I'll get this energy from another place, in another manner. I'll look at some movie. Oh, I'm enjoying it. I'm going on a trip. I'm enjoying it. I'm eating something delicious. I'm enjoying it. And this is called go and make money from each other. Why do you think that there's something special here? What will this obligate me to treat you better? If I'm making money from you, then I'm treating you well. And I also hate you inside because I have to invest to receive. It would be better if I could take it without making an effort. What does it obligate me? What does it change me? There is some kind of dependency, mutual dependency. I can visualize, but without change of a person himself. Therefore, this is the whole point, breaking point, or the arguing point between me and the world of economists and professors and lecturers and etc., etc. This is the whole problem. there is an education and a change in a man or not. This is what nature is forcing us. Nature is developing us. Now, we went through very great stages compared to when we got off the trees millions of years ago, and we went through very great long-term development. We reached a stage where today we're at a point of a significant shift. Significant means that precisely egoists and precisely these type of individualists, we have to begin to connect between us. And this can only be through the influence of the environment on each of us. And the environment we have to build in an artificial manner from the awareness and understanding that there's no choice. So a person has to begin to change. He has to force himself through the environment. And you're saying we'll do all kinds of manipulations, just education, we don't know what that is. Bring money like this, bring money like that. Nature wants something higher from us, that each of us will be higher, that together we'll be as one body. And you, by not going in this direction, but rather wanting something else, you are just expanding and increasing the current crisis. Just understand that going against the force of nature, the trend of nature, it's very dangerous. We'll reach a state where, what is the breaking out of a world war? It could be worse. There's the ecology before us. There's blows coming from nature ahead of us, so we don't even understand. Some earthquake and fills us all with coal and we all die. We are making the entire system of nature unbalanced. It's a system, it's an integral system. Let's begin seeing what the process is. And I'm very scared from all these economists. And when I hear about all these coins, I don't even want to write about them in my blog. It's a game. It's a very dangerous game. You're just stalling. You're lying to people and to yourselves as well. I'm telling you in the best possible way. You have good intentions, but you can't get anything out of it. I want to 1 second. When we come and say we need to educate a person, I encounter lots of resistance. Is there in this method, can this somehow influence changing a person? No. Why? Why not? In a roundabout manner? No. There were such things in this world about utopia, socialism. It all ended with blood. Blood, great, massive suffering, hunger, everything. It never ends well. In all kinds of forms, in an external, not from internalness, from education, but from external pressures. It always brought about a crisis. What's happening in Europe? Without an interchange, they brought in interdependence. And what happened? Without educating women, what happened in Russia? They connected them. We're friends. But who's friends? Who's ready for that? Did you educate a person inside? No. And you got what you got in Russia. In every place, in each and every country. You don't have any socialist country. It never ends well with wars. And if it happens along with the integral education process, as a result of the integral education, not before. And now we're doing integral education, but we need to do it before, and to the extent that a person changes, and then you can do based on what changes in him. in the same manner, in the same level. Baal HaSulam writes that there has to be a place for an example alongside the process. Do it, but it has to be at the same time. But at the same time as the whole world. The world is doing as it does, and we are taking some village and we're putting them all into the integral education. In a few months, people will begin changing, and we along with them in workshops and all kinds of talking, and we're verifying what's worth it for us to do by seeing our lives in a different light. We understand that we're all connected to each other, dependent on each other. How can we organize ourselves so that our lives will be better, safer? So, please, people get up and say, once a week I can give a group activity for kids. Voluntarily, just because I see that I'm contributing, I feel good about it. I want to. Another one will say, I can in the evening take a few kids to my home so the parents can go do what they need to do. You can say, there's money here, they're exchanging, they're also making money from each other, right? Right. But not out of obligation. They're going along with the trend of nature, and in that they're strengthening the connection between them until it will disappear. Until the money will disappear. They will just live in a place where everyone will take for his life what he needs in a rational manner. And everything else, give to people, give to others everything. He only needs to exist to see how warm the society is and safe and good. He lives in the Garden of Eden. Because everything that this society has, he'll get everything he needs. And he'll just want to live among them and connect with them in the correct manner. I want to stand on this point because this is exactly the gap in our explanation where we say, people say what we're saying is not practical. If I see what you just said and what you said at the beginning of the show, you said warehouses where we'll have stuff together, where you get stuff for cheap and for free. We have those things now, but they're not part of the integral education. They're like an addition, like the Salvation Army. And like in America. I used to live in Manhattan, and they had that kitchen and a big line. What is that? Is it something from the future? It's something from the cave ages. If we have to now, in this immediate stage, provide people with a way instantly to manage their lives. And what I understood from you in this show, don't touch anything. Start educating. Educate people, and in 2 or 3 weeks, you'll feel a different atmosphere in the city. Crime, the elderly, people treating each other better, clean, saving electricity and water, generally, the municipal. You'll start feeling these things, and then it'll come from the people themselves. Because to give, according to the integral education, means to receive. He'll want to give. It's like you give your kids. You're not enjoying, you're getting the pleasure from them. That's how you need to feel. That's the integral education. So where's the currency here? Where's the bill going? Who's buying and who's selling between you and your kids? Each one that gives is buying. He's receiving. What obligates a person? Education, change, that you go along with nature, you begin to receive this inspiration. You get something that maintains you, and society holds itself, the influence of the environment. There's no other way. If I live in a city like this, they brainwash me. I can't live any other way. I can't. It's against nature. Let me take you now to a nude beach. In 5 minutes, you'll take all your clothes off because you'll be ashamed. These things are the most simplest things in the world. We're influenced by the environment 100%. 100%. You can't be different from the environment. And then I'm telling you, the contribution to society, it will hurt that you're not doing it. It's like your kids, that you give them something. If you don't give society something, then you suffer from it. That's what we need to bring a person to. That's the currency. The bestowal like reception. It's clear to us that there has to be an educational process for this to happen. But again, I want to ask, why can it happen alongside the education and the social currencies that the results are pretty much the same? I don't want a social currency in my eyes. It's a person's desire to give to society. That's a currency, but you live in this world. You need things. You need to give, take. No. We'll open all the stores. If, say, we're in this city, we all begin to do things for each other, then from this environment obligating me, I'll start joining it. The environment doesn't obligate you. Today, the society doesn't obligate me, but why after an educational change, it'll obligate me? It's not obligating you. Now it's obligating you to ruin yourself, to see rubbish on TV, hear all kinds of things, to screw everyone, pollute. So let's go to this village. Let's say at the same time, alongside the education, we start connecting between us and all kinds of mutual help. I can't stay on the side, even if I didn't go through the education. If you don't go through the education, then you don't deserve to live there. You'll have to still go through the education for yourself, because you'll see that life is like that. We don't understand what the pressure of society is on a person. You're not aware of it. Who are you today? You're a result of your environment. Like a roll that came out of the oven. That's how they made you, and that's how you came out. You're a result of your environment in each and everything. Even though you're alone and you behave the way you think, you're still a result of the society. We need to get a different result from the influence of the environment. That's an anti-Ophir. That's completely opposite. And he's talking to me like a politician. We'll do what you're saying, but in the meantime, we'll also do our stuff here on the side. He's like politics, you know? We'll make a committee and we'll deal with it. And in the meantime, it won't work, friends. We need only to, in that same height, same quality, that a person changes, the society is changing, and then we'll see what we'll have left of money. I don't think there'll be anything left. I don't think there'll be anything left. I think the era of money is over. And we'll only have another thing. A person will get an education. The society is responsible. This is our Federal Reserve. This is our bank. This is what's responsible for a person's education. And a person has to go through the education. As a result of the education, he will change. As a result of the education, he'll contribute to society at the height that it influences him, and he'll receive for himself what he needs to exist. But why does it have to disappear? Why can't it remain as a a means to calculate, because you talked about a meter. It can be in the transition period, but at the end of the day, no. If I got the correct education, the money as means is not the problem. The problem is how we use it. But if we know how to use it properly, maybe we'll see that it's effective for measuring, for connecting. It can be like that in the meantime. You're scared to stay without work. I understand. We want to help the process. Yes, that's correct. In the transition process, there will be very interesting things. But again, as a result of the education, don't run ahead of the cart. You have to only at the level that a person changes and make a change in society. Otherwise, that's what you get. You already did it. Look what you did in Europe. You put a single currency, you closed everyone in together without education. Now you want a different currency. It's one and the same. Assuming that we're in the process, our group, do you see an option of creating a situation where from not for herself to herself with these currencies? No, even though we're part of this village? No. Because if we're talking about dealing with the integral education, in a few months, transforms everyone into something else. Because it happens with a lot of acts in a small, closed-off place, that we begin, that we go into there, that we begin to act between people, that people feel the crisis and feel they have to get out of it. And through these acts, the elderly enjoy themselves and the children enjoy themselves. We give an answer to each group, to each segment. Education for kids instead of these schools that are destroying everything. We're changing everything. There's no radio, there's no TV that shapes a person. Just if you take some small village, in a few months, you'll see something else there altogether. That's the influence of the environment on a person. That's what you do. Let's try it. Where's the currency? You won't even have time to operate it. A meter for each person, how much I'm investing, how much I can enjoy the environment in a partial manner until we transition to everything being open. Everyone investing what they need and getting what they need. We're close to the conclusion of the show. I want to ask you about the currency. Is it redundant or is it really damaging in your opinion? If it's as a result of education, it can be effective, very effective. And without education, you'll get the same thing that you have now. Nothing will change. You're just changing the packaging a bit, but when it explodes, it'll explode even worse than this current situation. You're talking about a very quick process of a few months, but we see on ourselves, we've been in this process, and it takes years. It's something else altogether. And it says in our writings, we are correcting ourselves for a long time with ascents and descents for years. There, it won't be like that. Because the nations of the world, the people that don't have a point in the heart, they become corrected at once. They don't have all those ups and downs. It's completely different material. It's worth it to make an experiment. I'm taking you. On this optimistic note, we reach the end of the show, the solution, where we spoke about Baal HaSulam's economic social approach. You can find all the shows on our site, kab.co.il. Thank you, Rav Laitman. Thank you, Ophir. Thank you. And until next time, so long.